Hello everyone, my name is Julian. I'm just gonna quickly put the camera and microphone to record. But yeah. All right, now we're talking. Hello everyone. Oh, what's better this way? My name is Julian. I'm here to do discussion number 3. Okay. I'm gonna be talking about. Oh, I'm missing something. Something's missing. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Counting Crows review style and Thank You Scientist, as well as Bush. Maybe a couple other things, but pretty much just that. So I'm going to do it in review style, so it's going to look weird for the live viewers or the live video that will go up once the live stream is done. So, and I'll be taking that off shortly after too. So anyway, thank you for watching. Here we go. Hello everyone, my name is Julian. I'm here to do an album review. This time is Thank You Scientist's newest album, Maps of the Non-Existent Places. Maps of Non-Existent Places. This album actually has been out for a while. Recently, Evil Inc. Records signed the band, and I guess took the album off Spotify, or maybe places. I don't know. They just took it off the market and re-released it, remixed and remastered. And so the first time I heard of Thank You Scientist, was probably in May, June, that type of time frame. And I listened to a couple songs and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good band. I'm excited because they were going to be the opening band for Coheed. So I wanted to know what I was getting into. And then as the time came, I wanted to listen to them again. And that's when I noticed that they took the album off. Well, it has been released again. I think it was Tuesday this week that they released it. And yeah, I don't know. I guess after hearing them live, which was a great show, they're a great band when it comes to live music. But after hearing them live, I was just blown away that I went back home and I listened to them again. But this time, it hit me differently. I have to say this is a weird combination of sounds of bands, I guess. I know that the bands that I grew up listening to are not the same bands that they grew up listening to, and so their influences might be different, but I'm going to try to explain what they sound like. Overall, it's like you grab a younger, modern version of Maynard Keenan from Tool, okay? Then you grab the singer from Chevelle, put them together. This is a singer from Thank You Scientist. They have a lot of progressive elements in there, Latin elements in there, fucking jazz elements in there, and it's crazy. The list goes on and on and on. They have one trumpet player, one saxophone player in the band, as well as a violinist. And yeah, just fucking damn. It's a great album in a lot of different ways. It's not repetitive in the sense of, chorus. Verse, chorus type deal, hence progressive. Instead of using your regular guitar tones, your regular distorted guitars to make some, riffs, they use the violin and the trumpet and the saxophone. And it gives a whole new perspective to that idea that we have as regular, rock listeners. Just by that simple fact right there, it just sends them, above and beyond other bands. Just listening to this band it's like, oh fuck, this is something new, completely new. And maybe you know bands that do this. There are plenty of bands that use violins, and there are plenty of bands that use trumpets. But when you put trumpets, violin, and then progressive rock, it's like, what? So it's It's awesome. First, you have to get used to it though, because listening to trumpets sometimes feels like out of tune with the song, but then you get used to it and then you just fucking let it take you, and it's great. So overall, those elements really help the band. They also implement a more modern version of like if we were to grab Fall Out Boy, you know, Fall Out Boy, I forgot, Panic at the Disco, and then you grab Pierce the Veil, and then you grab, you know, a bunch of these modern rock bands that a lot of teenagers really like, and you just made them heavy. You gave them balls. That's also what it sounds like when it comes to music. Sometimes it brings me to that realm, you know. But when I say Pierce the Veil, you know, double pedals and crazy guitar riffs, you know, like woo, you know, sweeping, I guess you would call it. I have to cancel the video stream because my battery's gonna die. That sucks. That sucks. I'm gonna go pause that. I'm gonna go pause that right now. I'll continue here. There's no problem. Yeah, so as I was saying, they sound like, you know, Pierce the Veil, more heavier, modern, you know, Fall Out Boy, Nevermore, Alright Since not Alright Since, Panic at the Disco. Some of the styles are there, and you can hear it. But I'm not saying that's what kind of band they are. You don't, if you have a negative connotation with the bands I just mentioned, it's okay. It's not like they really do sound like that. But sometimes their chorus, or, you know, the singer himself just kind of brings that element out, that sound a little bit. But like I said, it's still with balls, so it's heavy. The mixing, I don't know if it was the remix or the remastered factor, but when I listened to this album again, I just could hear the vocals so fucking well. I could hear every fucking instrument well when they were all coming together, and that's amazing for me. I mean, there's a lot of artists that just don't fucking, you can't hear them. You can't fucking hear any of the instruments. They're all just mushed together, and it's fucking stressful, man. I know I do this in my music, but that's because I'm not comfortable, and I'm trying to get better, you know, by listening to my sound, because you know, sometimes I mix my own music and I just don't like hearing myself out there. But as a listener, it stresses me out that I don't understand the lyrics at all. Well, this band, Thank You Scientist, you can fucking hear everything. Everything is everything. And that in itself is wonderful, you know, to be honest with you. It's great to hear what he's saying and be able to sing along right after you hear it again, you know? It's like, okay, boom, I know what he's saying here, so when I listen to the song again, I'm gonna know. And for that, again, it also adds value to the sound and the, you know, and the construction of the album. And not only does his vocals sound great, mixed well, but each of the band members, they get their own time to shine in this album. I mean, I'm talking about their own time. So everyone gets a solo. There is a instrumental track where every other band member, other than the singer, they get their own time to show off, to solo, to play. I mean, shit, that's such a long track, and all they're doing is going through like this adventure when it comes to the music. I mean, they go through a bunch of genres, through a bunch of emotions, and it's such a good point to put it at. That instrumental track is right in the middle, and it's almost like a, you know, intermission type deal where the singer goes, takes a break, and, you know, the band is kind of keeping you entertained, and then he comes back, and it's great. You know, I'm not a huge fan of instrumental tracks, especially if they drag out, you know, too long, because I like singing along. And it just brings passion when I hear, you know, lyrics. But even though that's not such a positive thing for me, the fact that they have it in there adds to their, I guess, to their bag of tricks, if that makes any sense. It's not something you're expecting. It's not something you listen. It's variety. You know, you don't get that shit all the time. Instrumental tracks are usually like frowned upon nowadays with most listeners. I know some people like instrumental tracks. Uh, I myself listen to soundtracks, movie soundtracks all the time, and I love that shit. But with this one, you know, I wasn't like a huge fan. I mean, I like the music, but I'm not a fan of the instrumental overall. Any instrumental, for that matter. It's not just Thank You Scientist. I enjoy when they do go off in their regular songs, when they do go off in their own little solos and their own little tangents. But they always bring it back with the singer, and that's what's fucking great about each song. You know, I don't know if you guys would believe me or not, but I feel like this album, Maps of Non-Existent Places, it's a fucking 9.5 out of 10. I think that's one of the first 9.5s I've given out in a while, if I've even given out a 9.5, other than, you know, my top albums. So what does this mean? Does this mean this is like my favorite fucking album? No, it does not mean that. It's just so new and refreshing that that adds points. You know, if Thank You Scientist decides to do this for every album, if they don't switch it up, then the value is going to go down. You know, and there's a lot of reasons why I think albums are great, and variety is one of them. This album has it. The songs are really long, so you can get lost in them, but not lost in like, oh my god, is this, you know, is this the same sound again? Like when you go between tracks at the beginning of each song, do you get confused about what song you're listening to? With this album, that can happen not because of repetitiveness, but because they do a lot of noodling around in the middle of songs. I hope I'm not confusing you guys when I say this, but their songs are long. They have your verse, they can go into a tangent, another tangent, come back with a chorus, go into a tangent, come back with a verse, come back, you know, with another chorus, go into another tangent, and then start a new song. And so the fact that there's a lot of like progressive elements that make them go off into different directions makes you confused about what song you're listening to. It's not because it's repetitive, but because, you know, they just go off everywhere. So you just don't know if you're listening to a new song. I guess tone-wise or mood or feeling, it's a little bit similar, but that makes sense. They're a band, it's an album, it's a theme, so it's okay. Again, it's just something that I have to measure as the years move, you know, progress, how many albums they come out with and what formulas they use in each album. But overall, yeah, 9.5. I mean, they even have a slow track. Jesus, like instrumental, slow track, and then every other track is fucking great. Feed the Horses is a track that I recommend you guys listen to. It's just fucking wow. It's one of the best songs I've heard in a while. And live, they're probably the first opening band that actually got me to clap and got the whole crowd to clap after everyone was just sitting there like, you know, damn. So great band, great album. I think it came out in 2012 originally, re-released. I don't know. I can't compare anymore. I can't listen to the old version of the album, but this version, man, hear the drums perfectly, hear the violin perfectly, hear the bass. There's bass solos, there's violin solos, trumpet solos, drum solo. I mean, everything has a solo in each song, and like 10 solos, you know. And so it's crazy, it's refreshing, it's fun. I'm not saying the music itself, you know, each part is like new. You know, they're not reinventing the wheel. They're just putting all these different elements together in one song. So you can either take it as, oh my God, that's too much, or you can take it as a journey, you know? So, I mean, my opinion, I feel like it's going to be completely different than most people, but I would give them a chance. I would overlook, you know, or at least try to get used to the guy's vocals. They're on the high pitch side, on the falsetto side, but it's great. That range, his range is beautiful. So listen to it. Fucking 9.5 out of 10. So hopefully Thank You Scientist comes out with another fucking album, because this was 2012. I know it. Or somewhere around that time. So they should be ready to pop out a new album, which is exciting. I'm ready to listen. Next thing I want to talk about is Counting Crows, Somewhere Under Underland. Wonderland, not Underland. Somewhere Under Wonderland. after so much listening time with this album, it really has grown on me a lot to like a hard candy level. To be honest with you, it takes a while, man. And usually with albums that I listen to for reviews, like 4 or 5 times, I listen in a reviewing manner, and then a lot of those tracks gets transferred over. If they're good tracks, they get transferred over to my playlist, and then that's when I listen to them, enjoying them. They randomly come on shuffle, and I'm like, oh, wonderful. And so a lot of the tracks on this album have done that, and a lot of the tracks that didn't get on my playlist, I kind of forgot, about them. And I listened to them again before, reviewing this, but it's still, it doesn't click because I didn't have them on my playlist. And so it's possible that they can grow on me. It's just that they didn't impress me enough the first time, for me to keep them around and get used to them. So here's the album, Counting Crows. We have the best tracks. I'm just going to go ahead and call them out here. Palisade Park. Fuck yeah. Palisades Park. Shit. Earthquake Driver. That one, it's tough, but then you love it. I'm telling you right now. Desolation is another track just like Earthquake Driver. A lot of these tracks are hard pills to swallow at first, but they have so much potential, and once you get used to them, they're great. And it's not hard to get used to. I'm not saying it's like, oh my God, I have to listen to it 10,000 times. I'm just saying once you listen to them, and maybe 3 times, boom, you start singing along. Can't even help it. God of Ocean Ties. This one took me longer, but I love it as well. It's a slow track, but then you really start to love it. It goes below Palisades Park because it's just not as interesting, I guess. And once you watch the video, the music video for Palisades Park, it's another world as well. It's really, really eye-opening. Not really eye-opening, but interesting. It's a movie pretty much, and they even call themselves a film, when you see the music video. Scarecrow, another great track. And it looks like the second half of the album kind of just starts to fall short. I don't know if it's because whenever you listen to an album, you restart it, you hear the first couple tracks always, and so what I'm saying, it's hard getting through an album. So sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and sit down and listen to this album, and I'll be going maybe 4th song in, and then I have to, go do something. So the latter half always gets a lot of, it gets less time, I guess. But to fight that, I always, after listening to it a couple of times, I start from the half part down. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is Scarecrow is good. Elvis Went to Hollywood is also good. That one took me a while, and that one's one of the not funner, but one of the more playful tracks, the more country-ish kind of tracks. Cover Up the Sun, John, and then the last 2 tracks are the ones that really don't get me. But I really honestly think it's because I just didn't give them the time to grow on me. The other fucking how many tracks are there? 9. The other 7 tracks are on my playlist, and so I think that's why. Overall, it's like another hard candy for me. The quality of the songs haven't really changed that much, and so that's a good thing. I'm not saying that they're repeating hard candy. I'm just saying they're reaching that level, and so this could have replaced hard candy. If I never listened to hard candy, and this was in its place, I feel like Somewhere Under Wonderland would have taken that place. With that being said, I think it's an 8.5 out of 10. Again, the last 2 tracks, I just feel I just didn't give them enough time to grow on me. But overall, it was a good album. They grew on me to the point where I just thought they belonged in the earlier works that they've done, And so that being said, 8.5 out of 10. Great job, Counting Crows. Moving right along. Bush released a new album. I mean, not a new album, a new single for their next album, Man on the Run, and the single self-titled. Not really interested in Bush anymore, to be honest. And then they were an influential band for me. And I know I've said before they were like one of the big grunge bands. And a lot of people disagree. They find Bush to be, on the side of like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots as well. I mean, there's a lot of grunge bands out there, different ideas, but Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Soundgarden are usually always at the top, and Pearl Jam. You can argue about that all you want. It all depends. But Bush for me was such a good grunge band, and some people don't call it grunge. over the guns, you know. Anyway, I love them growing up, especially 16 Stone, and I think it was I don't remember the name. I got it. Hold on. 16th Stone and Bush. Give me a second. I know Golden State was like the first album I bought from them. The Signs of Things. That album was probably my favorite album out of Bush's albums. I know 16 Stone was like great too, but if I had to pick another one, it would be The Signs of Things. But yeah, I don't know. After the latest album, I reviewed that one as well. I think it came out in 2011 or 10, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot the name. Obviously, I haven't listened to Bush in a while. Waterfall. I don't know. Let me see. The Sea of Memories. Close. It had something to do with water. Anyway, The Sea of Memories wasn't a good album. I forgot what rating I gave it, and whatever rating that was, it probably went down. Because if you think about it, I have no songs from that album on my playlist, and I have a lot of other Bush songs on my playlist. So it wasn't memorable. I probably don't think of it as highly as I thought, and it wasn't even that high back in the day. But anyway, Man on the Run just wasn't like, ooh, Bush is back. It sounds like a Bush, you know, something Bush would do. It's just the vocals. I think his name is Gavin, the singer. The vocals just bring me back to Bush, and it's kind of nice listening to his voice again, you know, in a song. But the music itself wasn't mind blowing. And I'll listen to the new album. Spotify's free, so I'll listen to the new album, but I'm not gonna purchase it. And me and Bush are pretty much done as well, just like, you know, previously mentioned, me and Maroon 5 type deal. They just don't bring anything new to the table, and I just don't listen to that type of music anymore. So that in itself just adds to the no-go. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about in this discussion. Sadly, my thingy turned off, so I'm not going to be able to upload a better quality version. And this version is going to be going down, you know, maybe in 2 days or 1 day. The only reason I'm going to keep it up extra is just because, you know, this one, I'm not going to be able to upload a higher quality one. So people can watch it if they want to watch it. And other than that, you know, I'll just turn it off. And I'll have to redo the review, you know, for Thank You Scientist and Counting Crows, you know. I guess better planned. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned.